So this is an excellent question. This is question 6D from our review. And the question asks, Mr. Becker bought a house for $439,500 and made a down payment of 20%. So what is the amount of the mortgage? So when we see a percent in this type of a question, we should automatically think we are going to be using our formula rate is equal to part over base. Now, in terms of this question, it is important to understand what the 20% refers to. When we're talking about rate, the rate is always applied to the base. They are usually connected together. So, in terms of determining exactly what we're trying to find, he bought the house for this price of $439,000 and 500. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. So the first thing we need to understand is that the part or is that the base? Okay, so because it's asking us to find the mortgage, this has to be this $439,000 and 500 is actually going to be the base. Okay, because the mortgage applies to us that is part of the whole. Okay, because they're telling us the down payment is 20%. Now, for your rate, you might want to say it's 20%. But really, if you're saying that, essentially what you're saying is that the house is worth what the base says, and you're only paying 20% of that price. That is not correct. Okay, that's not how, unfortunately, that's not how our retail markets work. Okay, so he put down 20%. So the mortgage or the rate that we need to look at is actually 100% of the total cost of the house, which is that $439,000. Okay. Subtract the down payment. So Mr. Becker has already put down 20%. So he has an 80% remaining on that mortgage, okay, or on that base. So now that is actually going to be our rate. So remember that when you have percent, we actually never use these. We have to convert it to something else. So I'm going to convert this into its decimal form, which means I'm dividing 80 by 100 to get 0.8. And that's going to be my rate. So if we look at our original equation here, we can start plugging in numbers. So 0.8 is equal to some part, that's what we're trying to figure out of $439,500 that he paid for. So if we manipulate this question, we are multiplying 0.8 by $439,500. And what we actually get to solve for P, sorry for that. So what we actually get is, I'm just going to erase some of this so that we have a little bit more space to work with here. Okay, so what we actually get when we multiply this together is our part is equal to $351,600. Okay, again, for some reason, I'm not saying the numbers, the math, or the money math vocabulary correctly. I don't know what's going on with my brain. I'm sorry about that. But as long as you understand why we are using 80% as our rate and not 20, that's really the purpose of this question.